With us on Point, the family of Leigh Matthews is making oral representations in the Parole Board sitting of their daughter's murderer, Donovan Moodley. Moodley is making a bid to be released on parole after serving 15 years of his life sentence. He abducted Leigh Matthews from Bond University in 2004, held her captive and demanded ransom money from her family. Let's cross live now to SABC News senior reporter Chriselda Lewis. A very good afternoon to you, Chriselda. What else do we know about the proceedings that are taking place today?
Well, Nzinga, let me just take you back just a little bit. It's less than 2 decades now, and Donovan Moodley is making an attempt at freedom. SABC News has seen the document of the oral representations that will be made by the family of Leigh Matthews. Part of that argument is that Donovan Moodley refused to be interviewed by an independent clinical psychologist who would be able to do an independent evaluation of Moodley's psyche and ascertain whether or not he remains a danger to the community. So that is part of what the family is arguing inside. They say Moodley's refusal to do so must weigh heavily against him in this application in his bid for freedom. But it's still a long process, Nzinga, to go before we get to hear whether Donovan Moodley will be granted parole or not. Let's take a listen to Correctional Services spokesperson Singabakho Ngumalo.
As Correctional Services, we can confirm that there is a session underway where Donovan Moodley, who's serving a life sentence, and the Matthews family, who are the victims to an offense that Mr. Moodley committed in 2004, are doing what we call oral representation. The session is on. We're hoping that it shall be concluded today. But this will not mean that it is the end of it, because after this, the Parole Board will have to put together everything. That profile will then have to be submitted before the National Council for Correctional Services, which will still have to dissect each and every piece, every statement in there, and make necessary recommendations, which will then go to the minister for the final decision to be made. Why is it so? Here we're dealing with someone who was sentenced to life, and all lifers' decisions go through that rigorous process.
And Nzinga, but we do know that the Matthews family will be making a strong arguments against Moodley's release on parole. They have twice already, I understand, refused to meet with Moodley in a victim-offender dialogue, one in June 2019 and another in August of the same year. The Matthews family has turned that down too. So they were quite clear also this morning in my conversations with them in Nzinga that they feel that Donovan Moodley has never been remorseful for what he has done, that he did not tell the truth about what happened from the point that he kidnapped Leigh Matthews from Bond University in those early 2000s. And the family is basically saying they don't believe that he's shown any remorse, he's shown anything that should lead the justice system in this country to believe that he can be set free and be put back into the community once again. So that session is still taking place today. Correctional Services, as you heard, indicating they're hoping to complete the oral representations today. But if it goes over than that, they'll have to allow the process itself to take place. But a far way now from when we will actually get a result on whether Donovan Moodley will be placed on parole as well. But the final decision, of course, once all of these oral arguments and those representations have been made, the Minister of Justice will have the final say on this once all the merits are taken into account.
Chriselda Lewis, SABC News senior reporter outside the Correctional Services Department there, following that story on Leigh Matthews' murderer, Donovan Moodley's attempt to try and get parole. We will keep you updated on that. Chriselda is on that story.